Well, good afternoon and you're welcome to Marketplace. Well, coming up, government and employers split heads on proposals to review the retirement age of 60 years.
In Europe, for instance, I'm sure the minimum is about 65 and they are moving to even 68.
We are not perfect. We learn on daily basis. So you do one thing, people review it and they come up with issues, and then you re-evaluate and then re-strategize to see how best you deal with it.
And the National Development Bank set to take off from January next year as government raises significant capital to aid its operations.
We anticipate a recovery in 2021 with a growth rate of over 5%. The growth is expected to remain robust in the medium term.
And also, an industry giant, managing director of Stanbic Bank Alhassan and Dani, set to retire after almost 14 years of service. And plus, second tranche of Cocoa syndicated loan set to hit Bank of Ghana's account next month. My name is George. This and other stories coming up after the break. Welcome back to Marketplace. Let's now settle for the details. And government employers are splitting heads of proposals to increase the retirement age from the current 60 years. Now, the review is part of measures to deal with the declining contributions of SNP pension scheme. But Employment and Labour Relations Minister Ignatius Bafewa believes the nation should be cautious about this move because of its impact on employment.
Pensions. I appreciate it, and I want to encourage such more discourse on pensions. We are not perfect. We learn on daily basis. So you do one thing, people review it and they come up with issues, and then you re-evaluate and then re-strategize to see how best you deal with it. And I'm happy that for the first time we've taken a bold step to be able to implement Act 766, which is the new pension regime, which is a deviation from the traditional pensions we know, that which was managed mainly by SNIT, where you take both your lump sum and your monthly pension allowances from one institution. This time, we have opened what we call occupational pension schemes, where businesses indicate whom they want to manage their second tier and third tier pensions, and therefore even as you go on retirement, you do not have to rely on SNIT for them to give you the bulk payment, but then you go to your occupational pension institution that has managed your funds, because you yourself manage it and then you ask them to supervise it for you. So if you invest well, you earn well. If you don't invest well, you don't earn well. Yes, so for me, it is the best.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive of the Ghana Employers Association, that is Alex Frimpong, says the current challenges facing the SNIT pension scheme justify this review.
Well, I think that discussion is long overdue, because all over the world there has been a significant discussion concerning the retiring age. And in Europe, for instance, I'm sure the minimum is about 65 and they are moving to even 68. So Ghana pegged their retiring age at 60 based upon certain assumptions regarding life expectancy. Times have changed. Life expectancy has improved. The health system has improved. Development has also changed the environment for doing business. So there will be the need for us to review the retiring age. You see, the discussion becomes more emotional, especially in the situation where you realize that many employees, many graduates are not getting employment, and they think that once you get to 60, you should give way to the others. It doesn't work like that. The fundamental problem has to do with the improvement of the national economy. Once the economy expands and grows, young, old, everybody will get a role to play. So for me, what is most important is that it is not about the age. Because if you look at the statistics of those who are leaving and those who are entering, I think they don't match. If if about 20,000 people retire every year, you have no more than 300,000 people entering the labor market. So I'm not sure that is the issue. The fundamental issue has to do with the expansion of the economy and the prospect of employment opportunities.
Let's go virtual and more development on this. Let's engage labor consultant Austin Game on what he makes of these development. Thank you, sir, for joining us via Zoom. And for you, let me first ask you, what do you make of this whole development on this pension scheme? Mr. Game, if you can hear me, my question is, what do you make of this whole current debate on this pension scheme?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me too.
Loud and clear. What do you make of this whole debate on this pension scheme, sir?
Let's be brutal. For them, but recalling how, as one of the commissioners, we sat for many years to prepare and write the pension scheme. The intent and the spirit behind the pension scheme, we do know that our economy can and have been expanding gradually, but we are not doing what we anticipated. And therefore, if we want to push the retiring age merely on assumption, which is not totally complete, that life expectancy has improved in Ghana, and therefore there is room for people to stay longer on the job from 60 to about 65, I think I differ a little bit from that. We have an army of unemployed young people in this country, and if we do not take care to make room for them to be also employed, I think we will have a controversy on our hand that we cannot be able to handle. I agree that governments must expand the economy to enable us to employ many more people. But when you are 60 and you have worked for about 25, 30 years, it's enough. Go on retirement. The experience you have, if you have the creativity and skill on your hand, be able to do something on your own. At my age, 71, by next week or so, if not because I have a certain skill or experience to be able to do what I'm doing, I should be working so that the young people will not get work to do. It's not fair. So I think that, to be honest with you, and brutally frank with you, the spirit behind the pension scheme, the occupational pension scheme, the SNIT pension, and the third tier is to make room for people to have some reasonable amount of money to expand into something else themselves. And then we make room for our graduates to be employed, and other people who have skills and are not even graduates who can be employed to be employed. But so I think I differ with them. 60, please find your way home and let somebody else be employed.
Prof, are we then drawing the analogy that when, for instance, a director of finance at the Bank of Ghana goes on retirement, a George Jaffe who has finished his national service can be employed in that role?
If you have, that's why we have training and development of skills. That's why we have mentoring and coaching. If an employer is lazy and he cannot mentor and coach his people for them to be able to fit in, we need people with certain genius qualities to be trained and prepared to take up jobs in higher levels. We shouldn't make people who are young people and who are working to be marking time wherever they are. We should be able to raise them up to take over from whoever is there. Otherwise, when you die, won't they bury you and somebody else will come and do the job? So people who have that experience, some of them have died, and the job is being done. So please, let's prepare people to take over, and let's stop hiding behind that.
Mr. Game, finally, before you go, one of the reasons why this proposal has come up is the challenge with the SNIT pension scheme. For you, what is the best way out in addressing it if we're not allowing people to stay longer and contribute more to it before we go, sir?
It's even a little bit more annoying to hear that. The point is that SNIT, those who are managing SNIT have a responsibility. If they can't manage, get out and let somebody else come there. Whoever is managing as a fund manager, managing the second tier, must manage well. Please, it is an enterprise-based occupational scheme. Workers must take their destiny into their hands and ensure that the portfolios in which they invest this money have a good yield. And the third tier, equally the same. They are not meant to occupy space and make money for somebody. Please, need people, if you can't manage, please honorably get down and let somebody else go and manage. We should stop mismanaging the funds. I'm sorry.
Austin Gamma is a labor consultant. Thank you so much for your thoughts over there. Let's move to other stories where the National Development Bank is set to take off from January next year. According to the Finance Minister, Keno Furata, it has not been able to raise the required seed capital for the financial institution to take off. Mr. Furata disclosed this to employers meeting in Accra, where he maintained that government is fully committed to assisting businesses who have been hit by this COVID-19. He believes that some of these measures put in place will ensure that the country, is quite strong whilst assisting a lot of businesses out there.
From our revised projected growth rate of 0.9% for 2020 to approximately 2% this year. We anticipate a recovery in 2021 with a growth rate of over 5%. The growth is expected to remain robust in the medium term. Underlying inflationary pressures are also easing as headline inflation rates have begun to decline from 11.4% in July to 10.4% in September 2020. In the absence of unanticipated shocks, inflation should return to the medium-term target of 8 plus or minus 2% by early 2021. Fiscal consolidation has also been programmed to be faster to signal Ghana's strong fundamentals to the markets, given that we are a market access country. Our post-election commitment to fiscal restraint will promote a return to consolidation path nearer than envisaged.
The stories in the banking industry, and the managing director of Stanbic Bank, Alhassan Andani, is set to retire from the bank after years of dedicated service. Now, this will now pave the way for a successor to be officially named by the bank in the coming days. There is more in the Flowing Business Desk report. Joy Business is learning that Mr. Andani is likely to move up and take up a new position in the bank, possibly as its board chair, or maybe the board chairman of a new holding company that could be created soon. This is, however, subject to securing the approval from the regulators and the board of the bank. Sources say a successor that has been approved by the board and cleared by the Bank of Ghana will be officially communicated to the public before the end of this month. For about a decade, Mr. Andani served the Stanbic Bank as its managing director. He helped transform the bank, pushing it to be among the top banks in the country in terms of assets and branding. He was also elected as president of the Ghana Association of Bankers, a position that he is currently occupying. For some, whoever is expected to take over may have some big shoes to fill, looking at the legacy of Mr. Andani. Trained as an economist, his banking career started as SSB, now ST, moving to Barclays and now Stanbic Bank. He serves on some boards of institutions in the country and was recently ensconced as chief of Pushigu in the northern region. And from us here, Joy Business would like to congratulate Mr. Alhassan Andani, who have served in this position for the past 14 years. And the second tranche of the cocoa loan syndicated loan is expected to hit the Bank of Ghana's account, that is next month. Joy Business understands the facility it will bring the tune, and about $650 million actually is coming in. Now, this will bring the total amount of funds after the loan was signed last month to $1.3 billion. Deputy Director in charge of operations at Cocoa Board, Dr. Emmanuel Opoku, says that the funds will be released immediately to aid the purchases of cocoa beans for the next crop season.
Farmers, as soon as they sell their cocoa, they need their money. So availability of the fund would enable us to pay all farmers who deliver their cocoa to the buyers at the society level. Yeah.
And you believe that also it would help in achieving your targets, one would ask?
Yes, because, well, right now, the way we've structured our pricing system and that of Cote d'Ivoire, there's not much for anyone to smuggle cocoa. But hitherto, without funds, people begin to take the advantage and sell cocoa to neighboring countries. So we need to make sure that, one, that we have funds to pay the farmers, because everybody wants to get paid for the service they provide, or just like you and I, at the end of the month, want to be paid. So the farmers also have to be paid for the work they do. So that is our priority, and that is why we want to make sure that the money is released straight away to the field to work.
But sir, some would say that there's always an optimism and the reality. The reality on the ground is that you think that enough has been done, this money is coming in, would help you hit your target and hit that record target that we hit some time ago?
I wouldn't say enough has been done, because we are still rehabilitating the farms, the disease farms. We have almost 40% of our entire landscape either diseased or moribund. Okay, so and we cannot do all at the same time. The money we got from AFDB, we are using about 230 million of that to rehabilitate the diseased and then the overaged farms.
And MTN Ghana has signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Folklore Board to facilitate the distribution of intellectual content work. The MOU will guide the heritage culture into digital transmission for the youth and the global society. Head of Sales at MTN Ghana, Eric Nsako, said there's opportunity to actually a great milestone to help develop the country.
So the partnership with the Folklore Board is, as Nanajo has explained to you, because they are the gatekeeper for all the heritage content in Ghana, whether it's stories, music, scientific works, like she explained, by the law. So what it means is that since we are a digital partner, a digital technology player, if we want to distribute or we want to support the distribution of our intellectual content work, this is one of the partnerships that has to be in place, because we approach our business as a community partnership, basically. So if the youth want to see heritage content and we provide telecommunication networks that connect them to the internet, then we have to help them to get the tools that access the kind of content that they want to see. Today, if they want to see content on YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram, they don't have that problem. There's a vehicle that can connect them. But if you want to see the Larabanga Mosque today, the best you can do is to look at a Google image of it. And how are you going to connect that with the full heritage story around it versus the fact that it is linked to our history and our other heritage sites? So you need an app that is purpose-built for that reason. And it is that we are facilitating with the framework. But the legal work is what we've done today, because you can't also just take content and start distributing it. There are consequences for that. So that's what we've taken care of with the MOU.
Now, if the main clinic for the JoyNews EcoBank Habitat Fair was good, then the main event actually promises to be even better. This year's edition, themed Affordable Housing Beyond the Rhetoric, seeks to provide one stop for all housing needs. Now, Joy Business has been speaking to the partners, one of them, that is DPS Roofing, ahead of the event slated for the 6th to 8th of November this year.
DPS started in 1995. We started at Kumasi as a very small company, as everyone does. And then gradually, with dedication and hard work, we moved to Accra. And we have branches at many other places. We've been in business for over 20 years now. And then we have done a lot of research to understand the built environment. Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about the kind of products you manufacture.
Okay, first what I would like to say is that we have been in the system for over 20 years, and then we have positioned ourselves to understand the built environment, to provide our customers with the constantly changing construction needs. So we have brought together some products in various profiles, gauges, in various aesthetics that people would love to have, and anyone who wants to buy roofing sheets cannot ignore. We have aluminium sheets, we have alu zinc, we have Eurotiles, we have shingles, we have PVC rain gutter, we have PVC fascia, we have trusses. Yeah.
Which product fits what?
Okay, so for the trusses, that's what goes in first. before you put the sheet on it. What people normally call it is the metal framework. That's what people know it by, but the right name is light steel trusses or galvanized steel trusses. Yeah, so that one goes on top of the building first, and then you put the roofing on the trusses afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, which of your products is in high demand?
It's the MSL and the Color Link Plus, yeah.
Okay.
So what we do is that we give you the material, we give you profile, and then we give it in gauges. So before you can get a complete pro forma invoice, we have material. So it's either you're going for the aluminium, you're going for alu zinc, you're going for Eurotiles or shingles. Then we have them in the alu zinc in profiles. So we have the IDT, we have the IBR. The IDT, the full name for the IDT is industrial depth trough, and then the IBR is inverted box rib, and then we have the modern strip lock, that's the MSL, and then we have the strip lock. So you can either go for Color Link Plus, IDT in 0.45. Yes.
Okay.
So
great. So we hear a lot about your trusses.
Yeah.
Why should we use trusses instead of wood?
Okay, so now what we have noticed is that people normally cut the wood before their maturity stage. So when they do that, people actually roof their buildings, and then they come back to us and say, okay, I'm hearing cracking noise in my building. What is the problem? I want to take it off. Normally it's from the framework. What you put at the base will determine what you get at the end of the day. So as you are putting a wood that is not matured, or a wood that has been fertilized to grow for them to cut, sometimes it doesn't even dry, because you have to wait for the wood to dry first before you put it on the building. So if you do that, if you rush all those processes, it affects the finished product, that's the roofing sheet that you are having. So we are recommending the trusses for customers or everybody in Ghana, because one, the wood doesn't need to sit to dry before it comes on your building. It's already durable, it's fire resistant, it's earthquake prone, it's affordable, and then it cuts to precision, so you don't get a lot of wastages. Yeah.
Okay, and all of these are locally manufactured?
Yes, we actually import the product, and then we do the manufacturing here.
What's the market like here in Ghana? What's the competition like?
We have a lot of competitors. We have a lot of roofing sheet companies coming up in there, but we always say that DBS is the best.
What makes you outstanding?
Okay, so for the outstanding, I'll tackle 3 major points. Normally, I'll look at our professionalism. Secondly, I'll look at our product that we are giving to you. And thirdly, I would like to touch on the finishing of our product.
Well, all too soon we have to draw the curtain. I know it has to be the place to be, the JoyNews Habitat Fair, as to look at whether you build, you buy, or you rent. And that's one of the biggest questions I'm trying to address myself, and I hope that some answers will be gotten when I go there myself. All too soon, draw the curtain down. Have a good afternoon. This has been Marketplace. My name is George Yafe.